Hi, and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that takes a look at players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Starting off today with some big news. It's been all over every media outlet today. And that's news coming from one of the Arsenal directors who goes by the name of Lord Harris. Now, Lord Harris, a larger-than-life figure at Arsenal, one of the hierarchy at Arsenal, one of the decision makers there, and he's also, he's a very rich man. He's the owner. If you live over in the UK, you'd be familiar with this company. It's called Carpetright. He's the owner of that company. Started that company, left school at 15, started that company. So he's like a self-made multi-millionaire. Now he came out today and said that Arsenal have got over £200 million in their bank accounts right now, and Arsene Wenger can virtually go out and buy whoever he wants to buy. This is what Lord Harris has said today in an interview. Some real revealing things. Let me get into the quotes from what Lord Harris was saying. He said, and as I say, he's an Arsenal director. He said, these are his quotes. He said, "Money was tight when we moved to the Emirates, but it's a lot freer now. We could go into the market and probably buy any player in the world, apart from half a dozen who are unbuyable." And obviously he's on about Messi and Ronaldo's there. He said, "We've got a list of players that Wenger wants. On that list," now this is very interesting, he said, "is a centre forward. But I'm not going to tell you who he is. I think he wants to come. It basically comes down to whether the other team can find a superstar to replace him, because they don't have to sell." Now that, for me, there you have it. There is confirmation. If you didn't want to, or if you didn't know before, that the number one target is Karim Benzema. That is Real Madrid he's talking about, isn't it? Remember what I just said? Let me read the quote again. He said, "You've got other team. Sorry, we've got a list of players that Wenger wants. On that list is a centre forward, Benzema. Right, but I'm not going to tell you who he is. You've got the other team. You've got to get, the other team to want to sell him. And I think he wants to come, but basically it comes down to whether the other team can find a superstar to replace him, because they don't have to sell." What I've been saying since the start of these shows, I've been saying that Benzema is a number one target. It all depends on a lot of things. There was a quote. Brian Swanson, the correspondent over there at Sky yesterday, he spoke to some of Benzema's people, and they said, and he tweeted out last night, I quote here, he said that Karim is very happy at Real Madrid. He will be a Real Madrid player by the end of a transfer window, 1000%. Right? That's what Brian Swanson said. They said, prompting a lot of fans yesterday on Twitter to be saying to me, "Look, Robbie, he's definitely not coming." Listen, you cannot say he's definitely not coming. It's going to be, if it's a deal that gets done, as I've been saying all along, it'd be like the Ozil deal, where it'd be a very hard deal to get done, to bring a player like Karim Benzema in. But as I said, it could happen. It could happen if Real Madrid move to buy somebody else, like a Marco Reus or somebody like that. They may be willing to let him go, and it does seem quite certain that Benzema would be happy then to come to Arsenal. And you only got to look at, I was looking over some old quotes last year from Mesut Ozil. When he was linked to Arsenal, he said he doesn't want to go anywhere. His team said he wants to stay. 100% he's not going anywhere. He's just interested in the project ahead. All of those things that you're hearing right now, at the end of the day, it's all going to boil down to Real Madrid. If Real Madrid want to sell Karim Benzema because they want to bring in another superstar, that's when any deal will happen. That's when you'll see the domino effect, bang, 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 bang. It's all going to depend on that. Now, many outlets today also suggesting that if Arsenal were unable to get Benzema, the number one target would be Robert Lewandowski. Again, I think this one would be highly unlikely, because I just can't see why Bayern Munich would want to sell a world-class striker when, you know, unless they've got somebody else to replace him, and who would that be? But there's suggestions that there's Lewandowski, that, you know, if Arsenal went in and, say, put in a bid of, say, 44 point odd million, Bayern Munich might be willing to sell him. I'll tell you what, if we've got £200 million in the bank, and Lord Harris went on to suggest that probably at least 100 million of that is available, then why not? Why not move in for somebody like Lewandowski? If he's available, I very, very much doubt that, as I said, that he would be available. And remember, that's what it's all about. You can have as much money as you want, but if the player is not available, if he's with a massive club like a Real Madrid, like a Bayern Munich, and they don't want to sell, you're not getting him. It doesn't matter how much the money. Look at Thomas Muller at the moment with Man United. They 100% want him, but Bayern said, listen, he's unsellable. Look at Sergio Ramos at Real Madrid. You know, they're holding. If that had been Ramos was at any other club, Man United, with the money they're looking to pay for him, they would have probably got him already. But when they're at those sort of clubs, it's very, very hard to move them. Suggestions also yesterday that Arsenal being linked with a move for Fernando Llorente. He's 30 now. I can't believe he's 30 already. I remember when he was playing for Atletico Bilbao. He's one of the best strikers around. Went to Juventus. It hasn't worked out for him there, not at all. They've bought Mandzukic and other players, Dybala, and he's going to be surplus to requirements. About £8 million, we're being told, would be the sort of price that Arsenal would be able to pay to get Llorente. Llorente wouldn't excite me or many other Arsenal fans. Very, very similar, again, to Giroud. I'd like to see a sort of either all-free goal-scoring striker come in, or a player that's going to have something different to Giroud, maybe a lot of pace, etc., in behind. And that could be Aubameyang. Linked again today with Arsenal. Still reports coming out of France that Arsenal are talking to Dortmund, saying to them, listen, what do you want for this guy so that we can get a bid together? We were told, though, that Dortmund are saying, listen, we do not want to sell Aubameyang. We want to keep him, but money talks. And if we've got £200 million in the bank, £100 million to spend, as one of the directors, remember, this is not me saying this is not newspaper talk, this is what the guy himself said. If we've got that sort of money, he just put a lot of pressure on Arsene Wenger, because that means even if you've got to pay over the odds for someone like an Aubameyang to dislodge him from Dortmund, and you need a striker, why not go and do it? And we need the man himself, Lord Harris, says, we're after a striker. That's what he says in his quotes. Read it, the articles in the Daily Mail sports section. Read that whole story. We're after a striker, he said. We're after a centre forward. If it's Aubameyang, if we put in for 30 and they, you know, million, and they're saying no, we can go higher. All right, we might have to pay over the odds. And now with that being revealed, we probably are going to have to pay over the odds, because every football club around Europe would have read that, how much money Arsenal have got in the coffers. Get the deal done. Now, listen, let's go into the most ridiculous rumour I've heard. I'm trying to weigh up which one was worse, whether it was the Johnny Evans one, which was a couple of weeks ago, Johnny Evans coming to Arsenal, or this one that has come out today, linking Danny Welbeck with a move to Besiktas. Absolutely. And check this out, right? £10 million. We paid 16 million for him, right? We're going to sell him to Besiktas for 10 million. What a load of absolute rubbish rumor that is coming out of Turkey. I've said to you before about some of the rumors that come out of Turkey. I've told you before that, you know, don't get me wrong, we got some right ones over here as well when it comes to rumors. But sometimes some of the rumors that come out of Turkish football are absolutely ridiculous. No way Danny Welbeck is going to be moving to Besiktas. Danny Welbeck is firmly in Arsene Wenger's plans for the new season. And so that is an absolutely ridiculous rumour. Sergej Samper, who was linked, of course, a couple of days ago with a move to Arsenal defensive midfielder, but El Confidencial over there in Spain today, reporting that the Arsenal not really interested in signing Samper. They're saying that Sampa's agents have sounded Arsenal out and said, you know, would you be interested in taking him? There's the £8.4 million release clause. They know that Arsenal have gone in for him a couple of times before. Are you interested in him? And Arsenal apparently have come back and said, no, not really. We're not really interested in Sampa. So it doesn't look like, according to El Confidencial, remember, it doesn't look like that deal will happen. So Sampa might not be coming to Arsenal. And finally, this one, I think this is good news, a good news story here. Abu Dhabi, we're being told yesterday is going to be having a medical at, I hope he passes it. Not looking to be funny, but I hope he does pass it. Looking to be having a medical at West Bromwich Albion, which, you know, that would be brilliant if he could sign there. You know, we're being told that it would be a free transfer on a pay-as-you-play basis for West Bromwich Albion. I'll tell you what, if you get this guy fit, he is a quality player, and he's played so little football over the years that, you know, if you could get him fit, it'd be like having a fresh player. But fitness is always a question mark. But I hope he can get through that, and he can get, because West Brom, him still playing in the Premier League, that'd be excellent. So Abu Dhabi having a medical at West Bromwich Albion, we wish him all the best of that and hope that he can successfully get through and get some game time in the Premier League this season. Let's get into your guys' comments. Asking you guys yesterday the question that should we go all out for Julian Draxler if he's available so cheaply. Joe Bilby said if we went all out to buy Draxler, he would not come as he wouldn't get into the team. And Juventus lost most of their top midfielders, so he would get into the team at Juve, but not at Arsenal. And he said Szczesny leaving, good riddance. Well, that's a bit harsh. He's got a good point there. Draxler would not break into the Arsenal team, especially not at first. Most definitely wouldn't. But as a long-term player, who knows? Marco Roisinho says Schalke is willing to let Draxler go due to the fact that he's been injury-prone for the last 2 seasons. He missed many games for them. He isn't an undisputed starter nowadays. They've got new, younger, hotter prospects in Maya and Goretzka. So he seems to suggesting that's one of the reasons why they want to get rid of him, is his injury record, which has been horrific. Past couple seasons, he's hardly played. Andy B is not happy. He said, from what I've seen, Arsenal are not going all out for any player that we've been linked to. He said, we've got a disgraceful manager. Now, come on, have some patience. Listen, it could all get to September the 1st and we ain't signed anyone. It's happened before with Arsenal, and it would be really, considering the revelations today about having £200 million in the bank, it'd be really disappointed if that happened. But we've got to be patient. You know, not every deal can be pulled off immediately. Comparing us to Manchester United at the moment I don't think is right, because Manchester United, Liverpool, they need a lot of players. Let's face it. You know, Liverpool have lost Gerrard. Like, you know, they bought a load of players last year who've not delivered. They needed to go out there and spend a lot of money bringing in players. Same with Manchester United. They needed to go out there and buy a lot of players to strengthen a lot of positions, and still need to buy players. If you look at Arsenal's team, we really don't need to buy much. And that is why Wenger's looking around and saying to himself, I want to buy quality. I just don't want to buy any old player. I want to buy somebody of real top quality to enhance the team. I just hope he does it. But to say he's a disgraceful manager, and, you know, we're still in July, the window finishes in September. Come on, let's you know, reserve judgment on that. Matthew Reislin, he says, to be honest, Draxler can play on the left wing when Alexis is out. Who plays on the left wing when Alexis is injured or tired? Welbeck. I thought we wanted to win the league. Let me tell you something. I like Welbeck on the left. I think that Welbeck on the left, I've said this many times, I think he's going to be a very important player for Arsenal next year. If we've just got to get this guy fit, because I just feel that Welbeck gives balance to Arsenal's team. And he's marauding down that left side. He's up and down. He can get back. He can score goals. He's going to be a very important player for Arsenal next season. So if Alexis can't play on that side, I see no problem. I really think Welbeck can come in and do an excellent job. Flab Don says, we don't need Draxler. We need a world-class striker, Lacazette, Benzema, and a CDM. And why do this is I'm going to do this one as the last one. Afflicid Guana. He says, why do people go on about Royce? I've never seen anything special from him. Hype, hype, hype. Listen, he's a top-class player. I think, again, another player who suffered a lot from injuries, but he is quality. He's definitely a quality player. And I wouldn't mind seeing him at Arsenal, I'll tell you that. And if we got 200 mil in the bank, why not? Thanks for watching AFTV Transfer Daily. Looking forward to the weekend, of course, the Emirates Cup. Arsenal back at the Emirates. Looking forward to being down there. We're going to be down there on both days. Make sure you look for us. Come and check us out. Have a chat to us. We'll be getting your guys' point of views on transfers. Also, we'll be able to assess how the team's getting on. And also, don't forget, I said the other day, still got this package here. Next week, we're going to be giving these away. Aaron Ramsey's boots here, given this to us courtesy of New Balance. There you go. Aaron Ramsey's boots. You can win these next week, so look out for that competition. Let me put them away here. Look out for that competition coming up next week. Thanks for watching.